Hello and welcome to another edition of On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update. We appreciate your time for tuning in today. I'm your host, Chris Green, Director of Network Expansion for Avoya Travel. And wow, it is a very busy yet very exciting time in the travel industry. Still a lot of uncertainty, but progress being made in almost every direction. We'll take a look at two key areas for leisure travel, Europe and cruising, in our Eye on the Industry feature here in just a moment. Almost time to wrap up Avoya Travel's Travel Advisor Appreciation Month, but guess what? You still have time to get all the gifts. We'll have details in just a second. Plus, we're excited to introduce you to Jake Saunders, Senior Project Engineer for Avoya Travel in this week's Meet the Team feature. All of this and more coming up in today's episode of On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update. And we sure hope all of this news, combined with your desire to work with elite resources, will spur you to action, cause you to reach out and start the discussion, because to be honest with you, now feels like the moment we've all been waiting for. Who can get back on the gas pedal faster, with more efficiency, with more resources to assist and help you so you can close more travel sales with your clients? Will you make the decisions to put your agency in the position to excel during this expected golden period of leisure travel? Will you catch that wave, or will you still be chasing the wave, forced to watch it just pass you by? Don't be left out. Send the request, have the conversation, keep an open mind, and explore what true best-in-class resources like live leads, support, marketing, business intelligence, technology, and world-class professional development can do for your agency. The Network Expansion Specialist can't wait for your request. They'll be happy to answer your questions and see if the Avoya Travel Network is a great fit for your agency. As the #1 host agency year after year, we hope we're able to create a shared success relationship with you and your business very soon. So let's kick off this week's On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update, the right way, with gifts for everyone. It's the final week for Avoya Travel's Travel Advisor Appreciation Month, but it's not too late to scoop up on all the goodies we offer. Sign up by the end of this month, May 31st, to access your free informational guides designed to help you run an even better travel business. That way, you still get all 4 of the great guides we offered this month. From how-tos to top tips, these guides will help you with marketing, planning, time management, professional development, and more. This week's guide is all about 5 easy ways to incorporate educational opportunities into your schedule. Access your free guides by signing up at our website, avoyanetwork.com. Time to turn our attention to the latest in travel news, and specifically 2 main areas for leisure travel that's getting a lot of press: the reopening of Europe to American travelers and the return of cruising to United States waters. A lot of ground to cover on these 2 topics today in our Eye on the Industry feature. So we'll start with the latest in cruising and its return to United States waters. Last week, we had a full recap on ASTA's annual legislative days on Capitol Hill. Skip Fortier joined us, Avoya Travel's Vice President of Network Expansion. And Skip was one of many travel professionals that pressed congressional leaders about issues that are vital to the travel industry. Now, forefront on that push was the Alaska Tourism Restoration Act, which would temporarily allow large cruise ships to bypass the required stops in Canadian ports while traveling between Washington State and Alaska. Well, big success, because the day after ASTA's legislative event, the bill was passed by the House, sent to the president, and is now law. And boom, just like that, you saw all of the major players, Celebrity, Carnival, Princess, Holland America, Royal Caribbean, and Norwegian. They released cruises for this summer's Alaska season, which they're desperate to try and get in on, right? And that's going to start in July. The Celebrity Summit will be the first, will sail Alaska for the very first time with 9 different 7-day itineraries out of Seattle. And one of the ways that you can maximize your value to your clients is by staying up to date on all of the requirements that are needed to sail. Because let's face it, all of that information is information overload, and it's very confusing to the average traveler. And they're going to want an expert's assistance, and that's where you come in, right? We're happy to offer those in the Avoya Travel Network the best-in-class resources to maximize their value to their clients. Now we turn our attention to the latest in cruising out of Florida. Royal Caribbean, the first cruise line to receive the go-ahead for test cruises, and sister brand Celebrity Cruises receives permission for the first revenue sailing. Both of those are scheduled to happen next month. the CDC granted permission for the Freedom of the Seas to offer a test cruise designed to test safety protocols prior to having a revenue sailing. And before you reach out and ask if I can help get you on the list to be a participant, just know that 250,000 people have already put their name on that list. So I don't think I'm getting on, and I sure can't help you get on. But the sailing did happen on June the 20th, and it's a really positive thing, sailing out of Port Miami. Now, not long after that announcement, sister brand Celebrity Cruises one up that announcement with news they've been approved for their first revenue sailing out of the United States. This will be the first big ship sailing out of United States waters since the pandemic shut down cruising in March of 2020. The Celebrity Edge will sail 7 nights out of Port Everglades. World famous Captain Kate will be at the helm. It's going to start on June 26th. And this approval comes as Celebrity has announced it'll meet the CDC requirements on vaccinated guests and crew. And in there lies the one big hurdle that still needs to be overcome. The stark difference in the requirements laid out by the CDC, which means they have to have at least 98% of the crew vaccinated and 95% of the guests, versus Florida law that forbids any business in Florida from mandating vaccines to provide services to the public. Now, how Royal Caribbean and Celebrity will navigate this, well, it's still to be seen. They've only said publicly they are working on it. As we move over across the big pond to Europe, the latest in Europe's push to welcome back vaccinated international travelers for most of the world, including the United States. This is exciting news, but it's also a bit confusing as each individual country can, and in some cases do have their own set of requirements to enter for leisure travel. Spain this week joined a list of countries that includes France, Greece, Iceland, Croatia, and announcing their reopening plans. Most of these countries have economies that are tied very directly to the tourism sector. Like Spain, they're announcing that starting June 7th, all vaccinated travelers with approved vaccines administered at least 14 days prior to arrival will be welcome to travel in Spain for leisure travel purposes. And as we've discussed previously here on Deck with Avoya, Italy started a quarantine-free direct flight from the United States to both Rome and Milan. But it's a little murky. Questions still arise if leisure travel is open for those on those flights or if it's still only geared towards those exempt travelers. As with any fluid situation, this is why your clients depend on you and why travel advisors are seeing such a much more important part of the experience than ever before. Staying on the European continent, our friends at AMA Waterways had a big announcement this week. They finalized the date that they're going to return to sailing the rivers of Europe. AMA Waterways will return on July 3rd. It's first sailing out of Portugal, and sailings on the Danube out of Germany, and sailings out of France and Spain. Should be a pretty amazing summer. And quoting Kirsten Karst, AMA Waterways Executive Vice President and co-founder, we're so excited to see the situation in Europe evolving in a positive direction and are very optimistic about the new tourist entry requirements that will be officially announced in the coming days. Again, the demand for these sailings combined with uncertainty highlight the value of a travel professional, what they bring to the table. And if you don't have the resources needed to benefit from these kind of moments, you should really look around because resources are key to success. And we're excited to offer best-in-class resources at every turn. We hope you reach out and start the process today. And finally, those Disney fans from out of state will finally get a chance to visit Mickey and the gang at Disneyland. After reopening on April 30th, after being shut down for over a year, they reopened only to California residents. The park will once again welcome out-of-state guests on June 15th. That date happens to coincide with the day that California is set to drop its remaining social distancing restrictions, including its statewide mask mandate. The fact is, as much as everyone is excited about the return of international travel, travel within the United States is going to have a record summer. And if you have the right resources, like Avoya Travel's focus on vacations you can take now, you have the potential to help you move your agency to a whole new level. Time for another great segment, my favorite segment here with our Meet the Team feature here on Deck with Avoya. And each week we're excited to introduce you to another outstanding member of the Avoya team. And this week we feature Jake Saunders, Senior Project Engineer. Jake is a longtime member of the Avoya team, having seen the company transition from brick and mortar travel company to the #1 host agency in leisure travel. So Jake should have some great insights into the best-in-class resources offered to those in the Avoya Travel Network. Those resources are our difference maker, and we hope we get a chance to explain to you how they work, why they work, and how they could benefit you and your agency. So without further ado, we welcome Jake Saunders, Senior Project Engineer, as our special guest today. Jake, welcome to On Deck with Avoya.
Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
Jake, let's start at the beginning for an overview for our interview. You've been with Avoya Travel for a long time. You've seen the company make its way through many of the innovations that have kind of led to our current standing in the industry. Tell me a little bit about how you got into the travel business and how that ended up to you working with Avoya Travel.
Yeah, I was running my own internet web design company, and my wife was independent, working a regular 9-to-5 job, and I was independent contractor, and we decided to switch. And so I was looking around for innovative companies to partner with, and I came across what was widely known in the San Diego area as Anderson Travel, and they were just starting to get into the internet space and using their brand America's Vacation Center. So I hooked up with them, and I got involved right when we were kind of transitioning from the brick and mortar kind of company to an online website entity. So kind of got in on the ground level of when we started developing our online presence, and when we started to expand to start having independent affiliates and agencies associated beyond just employee agents and brick and mortar offices. And so we were well known around San Diego as Anderson Travel, and then before Avoya, we were America's Vacation Center. So quite a few changes have happened as I've been around, and it's been awesome to be a part of it and contribute.
Yeah, for sure. You've been there through the whole evolution, as it really flipped, 180 degrees, right? From focused on employees that handle the selling to the travel. Now, none of us as employees sell travel. It's all handled by independent affiliates. So a complete kind of swap in that business model there. Yeah,
and our marketing back in the day, one of the reasons we developed Agent Power was to connect our locations to the back end, and so we can post screenshots of what our ads were in the local newspaper. So our marketing was newspaper, and we used to get images of them and propagate those out to the different offices. So when the phone rang, they knew what the people were calling about. And so, transitioning from that to then advertising at America Online and having digital leads, and that was the infancy of what we've become today, and it was great to be at the ground floor of it.
Has travel always been an important part of your life, Jake? Did you get a chance to travel much in your younger days?
I'm kind of a first generation traveler. My parents didn't do much traveling. We didn't do much more than camping. And once I got in the car, I was traveling around California and Western states for surf and snowboarding, but no, international traveling and getting around the world was something that was totally new to me. And it was, that's one thing that's been so amazing about being involved with Avoya is it really opens your mind to get out there and see different cultures and experience them firsthand. And I remember early on being told how important what we do is, because it opens people's minds and hearts, and it really it's valuable. It's not these are life experiences that are the juicy, exciting things of your life, as opposed to just collecting toys or what have you. So no, I've been all around the world now because of my association with Avoya, and I'm still excited to explore more.
We can't wait to dive into some of your favorite trips here in just a few minutes as we progress with our conversation. As you've seen the company grow and evolve, and your role has evolved as well, I have to assume. Tell me a little bit about your current role as a senior project engineer, some of the projects that you're involved with, and how that has a positive impact for the members of the Avoya Travel Network.
Yeah, a big part of what, I'll go straight to kind of our live leads program. This is something that I'm involved with quite a bit, and the projects I'm involved with is basically connecting our platform and our network with other companies and other partners, whether it's advertising partners or tracking or other kind of service providers. So live leads is one of the important selling points. I'm sure that you talked to a lot of the perspectives about. And so we have a concept called Q squared, and that is trying to find the optimal balance of quality leads with quantity of leads. Because if you have a lot of leads and none of them are any good, that's wasting people's time. If you have really good leads and there's not enough of them, everyone's twiddling their thumbs. So it's finding the balance between those. And so we're fanatical about tracking and data and analytics, and business intelligence is the department I'm with, and that's so it's about finding the sources of leads and the kind of leads and filling those with rich data. So when they arrive to our independent agencies, they hit the ground running and they have quality leads. And so that's a big part of what I'm involved with is the data and the development and integration of third parties, whether it's tracking or marketing or lead generation, and bringing those into our network. So that's a big part of what fills my days.
Us non-technical people would say you're the glue that kind of keeps all the moving pieces stuck together, and we certainly appreciate that. Jake Saunders is our special guest today. Jake is the Senior Project Engineer for Avoya Travel. And Jake, we talk a lot about best-in-class resources when we talk about Avoya Travel and what they offer an independent travel agent. From your perspective, what does that mean to you? Does that level of commitment to excellence add any extra pressure for you and your team and the projects that you engage in?
Well, I think that we're always focused on doing the best that we can. Through the history and the tenure that I've been here, we've continually climbed up the mountain, becoming better and better to where we've got to the top, and now our challenge is to stay at the top. And so I think that we're driven for quality and professionalism as our own our goal within ourselves. And so we've been very nimble to adapt to the changing environments, because like I said, we were brick and mortar and doing well, and we transitioned to be one of the dominant forces in the online space. So we've been very quick to see what's going on in the industry, make changes, capitalize on opportunities, and move quickly. So it's all about doing the best for the customer, doing the best for our agencies, doing the best for our suppliers. And so we're driven by excellence in and of itself. And so that definitely, provides the best resources for our agencies, in my opinion.
Yeah, it all leads to that shared success model, which is one of the reasons that we stand out in an industry filled with so many different players that have so many similarities. The differences between them and Avoya Travel is very stark, and something that we're all very proud of. No doubt, as we kind of hopefully are starting to move past and see the final stages of this COVID crisis, but the COVID crisis has really forced everyone to re-examine how they do things. In what ways, Jake, did your role change, and how does that continue to evolve as we work our way through this pandemic?
In the tech departments, we often have very long lists of to-dos, projects, whether they're immediate projects or down the line future projects. There's no shortage of things that we want to do as tech teams, and things that are requested of us from other teams. So it has given us a little bit of pause to basically kind of tackle some of these things. So the slowdown of things have given us the opportunity to say, okay, let's reprioritize and let's reset the baseline, what's important, what's not, and those things that we needed time to get to, let's get to those. It really kind of crystallized and gave us time to evaluate where we are and what we're doing. And there has been unique challenges. So, I mean, working virtually has been pretty seamless for us. We're very tech savvy organizations. So, when we were sent to work remotely, I mean, basically we did it in a day. It was very easy transition. So in a lot of ways, we didn't miss a beat by switching, and it gave us a time to kind of breathe and step back and reprioritize and tackle some of the long things on our list over the years. So it's been okay in that regard. I mean, we missed the camaraderie, but we're getting really talented with this Teams thing and Zooms thing.
Yeah, for sure. Reset the baseline. I love that phrasing, Jake. I really do. I'm going to be politely stealing that for future conversations. Information and business intelligence is just one of the ways that Avoya Travel has become an industry leader, and you're involved in making sure that data is accessible so they can crunch the numbers, they can identify and capitalize on those trends. Tell me a little bit about business intelligence, what it is, why it's so important in this day and age.
Yeah, a lot of people think of business intelligence. Oh, well, they're the team that creates reports. And while that's true, it's so much more than that. It's about leveraging data, collecting data, utilizing software, utilizing services to transform data into actionable insights. And so it's informing and involved with organization strategies and tactics. So it's our leader is sitting at the top table of our executive committee. So it's integral in doing things smartly, if that's a word. But
yeah.
Like I said, throughout the years, we've been fanatical about data and tracking and looking at the return on investment, return on ad spend, and finding, the Q squared thing. It's all about doing things that work well, that are measurable. And so, having our business intelligence department, which is kind of new over the history of Avoya, it's so that we can do things that work well and are smart, and we're well and super engaged with most of the departments of the company. So it's great to be knowing that you're doing things that you can measure and you can see positive results, and then you do less of the things that don't work and more of the things that do work. And so you're not driving blind. And so my role on the team is a little bit more on the development side, kind of filling the bucket with the data, and then some of my cohorts are then working those into actionable, intelligible reporting and action items for our tactics and strategy with the executive committee.
Because the idea of work smarter and not harder, it sounds great and it's a really cool, catchy phrase to be able to throw out, but there's so much that goes into that, right? I mean, the way that you can work smarter and not harder is by relying on true data and then extrapolating the important aspects and then focusing in on that. I mean, as the person who heads the team that brags about everything that everybody else at Avoya Travel does to make the lives of the Avoya Travel Network better, I just know that we're the industry leader in that respect. Very few host agencies can even claim to have a business intelligence department, let alone one that provides, just the actual ability to be able to raise your game like happens with Avoya Travel.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as we transition from your work role to you, the person outside of Avoya Travel, let's chat about some of the things that you like to do for fun. And no doubt you live in the Southern California area. You're blessed with living in one of the most beautiful places in the world. The beach is right there. The mountains are only an hour or two drive away. And you're the kind of guy that likes to take advantage of all of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was born on the beach. My mom used to drop me off on her way to work, and I would just, surf all morning, and back in the day, boogie boarding, and then just stay on the beach playing volleyball until mom came around to collect me. So that I was raised on the beach. So I'm all about board sports, surfing, snowboarding, skateboarding, and so that's a big part of what excites me and my hobbies. And I now have an electric skateboard, which before COVID, my coworkers saw me zipping around, going to lunch in the parking lot, and And now it's great to just get outside and just get fresh air and get out from, cooped up in the home office. And so, yeah, in the winter months, I'm traveling all over the Western states, chasing the powder. And then throughout the year, I'm often surfing before work every day when there's waves. But yeah, those are my passions. And, I love it. It's great. Southern California boy.
If I tried an electric skateboard, it would only equal copay. You know what I mean? So I've been banned from any of those kind of activities. What about favorite trips, Jake? Anything exciting adventure-wise that you've been lucky enough to take? And what about something that might be on the radar for, like, as they call them, a revenge towards a COVID type of trip?
Yeah, like I said, I hadn't done much traveling before coming here. Early on, I did a 14-night Mediterranean cruise that hit 7 countries, which was amazing. It was like a sample platter of Europe, and hitting Croatia and Turkey, which I had no expectations, that were amazing. But the one that really stands out was our trip to Philippines. I had been going to Mexico, and I told my wife's part Filipino, so I told all the aunties or titas, and as they say, that I was going to be adventurous and I want to try like their street food, because I'm thinking like, whatever the equivalent of street tacos are in the Philippines must be great. So they took it upon the challenge to give me all the most crazy foods. And I don't know if you guys know what balut is, but I've done it. I've done it once and I never have to do it again. You can Google on YouTube to see my video of it. Jake conquers balut. It's often listed as one of the grossest foods of the world. It wasn't as bad as that, but I did do it. And so you can Google what that is, but it's basically a half-grown duck egg. It's intense. But we got deep into the provinces out there. We went to places where I looked like an alien, because they don't see like, white American dudes or whatever. My father-in-law took me, and we hunted down the homemade moonshine called lambanog, which is like fire water. And we swam with the whale sharks in the South China Sea. I know people that have been trying to do that for years and never find them, and we saw like 7 of them in one day. It was amazing. And it's, travel has been really eye-opening, and it has opened up my mind and heart and soul. And so that was one of the most memorable trips. I like through Avoya, I've been all around Caribbean and Europe. But now I'm kind of eager to kind of point towards Asia a little bit. I want to, experience Japan, maybe Indonesia. So those are kind of on the bucket list. And in Indonesia, they got lots of surfing. So that would be kind of near the top of the list.
Jake, we really appreciate your time today. And one last question before we let you go. When you look back at your tenure with Avoya Travel, 18 years and counting, and then project into the future, you feel confident that Avoya Travel will continue to be an industry leader?
Absolutely. Like I said, I saw us go from, we were literally like a startup company doing what we didn't know exactly what we were doing, but we were going hard and making decisions and building things that didn't exist before. And I saw us achieve the goals that we had, only to find new goals and achieve those. And the company's always been very nimble, not have a lot of debt, and very innovative. And I'm constantly surprised and shocked at what we've accomplished. But then we have so much in front of us, and we keep progressing and hitting more and more challenges. So it's been very exciting to be involved with. Like I said, I worked for myself for many years, and that's, fun and all, but to be a part of something bigger that is conquering and the highest challenges, and, continually finding the next mountaintop, it has been amazing. So yeah, I think that as well prepared and able as any company in the industry, we're well positioned to continue to stay on the top, to continue to be number one. It's really inspiring to be a part of.
Jake Saunders, everyone, Senior Project Engineer for Avoya Travel. Jake, thank you again for that great discussion.
Sure.
We really appreciate your time today for being our featured Meet the Team guest.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Next week, we're excited to welcome Jomana Bulos, Trade Marketing Manager, will be joining us to talk about several topics, including how her role positively impacts those in the Avoya Travel Network. I look forward to having Jomana as our Meet the Team featured guest next week here on Deck with Avoya. All right, let's quickly talk promotions because we still have 2 active promotions in the marketplace, the same ones we've had for several weeks now. The first one geared towards a high-end travel professional. These are people that would have in like 2019 been doing like 500,000 in gross sales a year or above. Probably have future cruise credits, clients that are starting to reach out, the phone's ringing. You might be looking for a better, more competitive home for the future, for this golden period of leisure travel that I'm really confident is about to happen. For you, we are waiving the initial $495 fee. My team is more than happy to get you qualified. And for agents trying to reach that level, still hoping, needing the resources to get there, we've got a great promotion where we're waiving the 6-month renewal fee for you. Again, reach out, start their conversation. My team's more than happy to get you qualified. You can explore with complete flexibility, no long-term contract or exclusive agreement, but don't wait because you don't want to delay that success. The wave is coming and you definitely want to be part of that. How do you reach out to us? Pretty simple stuff. My email, chris.green@avoyatravel.com. I will be more than happy to get you in touch with one of our specialists. You can call our number there on the screen. You can reach out through the website, avoyanetwork.com. You can leave a question right here on the Facebook page, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can leave a question here as well. We'll make sure that we connect with you, provide the information you need, and again, maybe together we can put together the beginning phases of a shared success relationship. I want to add my voice to those who honor the fallen this weekend for Memorial Day. We certainly appreciate what they've done to help keep our country free. We hope you have a wonderful weekend spent with your family. We'll be back next Thursday right here for another edition of On Deck with Avoya. Until then, thank you for joining us and have a great week, everyone.